You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. Firstly, joined in the studio with Daf and Geoff. They're going to be telling us all about the Queenbrough Rowing Club. Firstly, the both of you, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Daniel, for having us back here again. Always a pleasure to be on BRFM.
So I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about the history of the club.
Well, this is its 21st birthday this year. The club's been running for 21 years. And always have 20-ish members. And this year we've not only got local members, which range from teenagers to pensioners, male and female, very good mix. But we've also got members that come from Gravesend, from Strood, from London. We've even got one member that lives in France, comes over to us to do the Great River Race, which Geoff will tell you about later. The younger, fitter ones do a lot of competitive rowing, and the older, more sedate ones just enjoy the fresh air, just enjoy the peacefulness and the exercise. So we are really good for all sorts.
Thanks, Daf. We've got four rowing boats. Three of them are Queenbrough gigs. They're 27 foot long. You have four rowers, cocks, and sometimes you'll have a passenger as well. They're traditional rowing boats, so they're fixed seats rather than the sliding seats you may have seen on the Olympics, and they are modelled on traditional pilot cutters that were designed for the pilots to be taken out to the big ships out in the channel, for the pilot to guide the big ships in through the difficult waters into the port. And the idea was that you had a boat that was fast and seaworthy, because the first pilot that got onto the boat got the job and the second pilot got nothing. So you wanted a boat that could get you there first. So the boats that we have are ideal for these waters. They're fast, but they will also deal with the sea, as it's sometimes a little rougher here than it is in some inland areas. So interesting boats, and we also have a new addition, a brand new boat, which we'll be talking about later, if we may.
But about the benefit of rowing.
Well, one of the major benefits of rowing is the health side of things. It is a guaranteed way of improving your fitness. They say with rowing that when you're rowing, every single muscle in your body is given a workout from your head down to the tips of your toes. So in terms of aerobic and in resistance training, it's ideal. So if you want to be fit, it's a good way of achieving that. I suffer from, or have suffered from, a bad back, and certainly rowing is one of those ways of strengthening your muscles, so that it does tend to keep the spasms in the back at bay. So the fitness side of rowing is important, and of course, when you're out rowing, it's a good way of burning off those calories. So those of us for whom the spreading of the pounds around the middle is always a bit of a worry, it's a way of keeping them in check. So it's a good way of weight loss without too much of the dull side of dieting. So in terms of fitness, rowing is great and recommended. But I suppose the thing about rowing is that it's fun. It's good. It's great. You're out in the fresh air. You're out enjoying nature. You're rowing in real life as opposed to straining away in a gym or in your own workout space in your home. You're out with the wildlife. You have direct access to looking at the birds. We were looking the other day at the increased number of birds that there are in the swale, because that's where we row around Queenbrough. We row towards the docks. We row round Dead Man's Island when the tide is right, and we row down towards the bridge. And it is a great access to the wildlife. And this year in particular, the number of fish fry that are in the water bodes well for the increasing the fishing stock. You keep a direct eye on how nature is developing through the year. So we have been known to crack the ice in mid-February before we go into the waters, as well as swelter in the heat of the August sunshine that we had recently. So going out, enjoying nature directly like that's another benefit of rowing. And the third one is that you're working with a team of people. It's developing your teamwork. You can only make a boat go fast if you're working in unison with other people, and that's a good lesson for anybody to learn, whether they're 13 or 73. So the social side of rowing is great, and we do have a full social calendar. So Daf, you tell us about the social calendar, because you're, I know, a social butterfly.
Well, we always have a Christmas dinner, of which we go through each person and do our highs and lows of the rowing for the year. We do different sort of social meals in between throughout the year. We do quizzes which raise funds for our new boat, and now for a trolley to stick the thing on to get it into the water. And we are actually doing a quiz tomorrow evening. If anybody would like to meet some of the rowing club, would like to come along and see us, we'll be at the Trafalgar at Queenbrough for 7:30 for a Queenbrough Rowing Club quiz.
And I think you're going to talk a little bit about some of the boats you've got next.
Yes, being Queenborough, we seem to have a tradition of naming boats that have a queen with a connection to the Isle of Sheppey. One of the boats is called Philippa. That's from the Queen Philippa, who named Queenborough and had the castle in Queenborough, so that's Philippa. Another boat is Sexburger, and that's for the rural part of the island, with Queen Sexburger, who was the Queen of Kent and who built the abbey and the gatehouse that we still have. So that's Philippa and Sexburger. We were fundraising for years and years and years for a new boat, and then came the problem of what on earth are we going to call the new boat. It's still rather nice to stick with the tradition of queens, and something did cross my mind. Sheerness and Bluetown are the boat building area of Sheerness, but is there a queen connected with Sheerness? Almost came to a blank there until I suddenly remembered that Queenbrough and Sheerness were both captured by the Dutch in 1666, and Queenbrough was given back by to Queenbrough by the Dutch government, to the UK government. Sheerness wasn't. So it did occur to me, why not name it after the Dutch Queen, because that is the Queen of Sheerness. Her name being Maxima, Philippa and Sexburger seemed to be a nice trio. But then... Well,
then it was decided that we had our own queen on Queenborough, a living queen, so we're going to bring ourselves right up to date. And the person that we knew that had all the appropriate regal qualities to be a queen is of course our own Daf. So the boat was named the Lady Daf. Daf has been a long-time member of Queenbrough Rowing Club and has done more than anybody else to keep the club on an even financial keel and raise the money that we needed for the new boat. And all the members were absolutely unanimous that the new boat could only be named in memory and acknowledgement of Daf as the Lady Daf. And when we launched the boat, about a month ago, and Daf was sitting in the prow of the boat, we realised, of course, we had made absolutely the right choice. And so the Lady Daf now proudly presses through the water when we're out rowing in the swale, and you can see her, that's the boat, and her, the Daf in person, on a Wednesday night until the clocks go back after 6 p.m, and on a Sunday morning throughout the year, when you can join us at those times.
And just a small footnote to that, my son and daughter have bought me the title that goes with the Lady Daf, so I'm a real one now.
So, just quickly, what was involved in sort of, getting a new boat? Because I suppose deciding you wanted one, to the fundraising, getting it built, I bet that was quite a task.
Yes, it is. I mean, the cost of a new rowing boat, the cost of our new rowing boat, is in excess of £16,000. Which for a small club such as ourselves, is a heck of a lot of money, and not something that you could just draw out of the club funds. We haven't got that depth of money. So, I don't know, for 2 years, maybe 3, we have been raising the money necessary for the new boat, primarily through Daf's involvement with the quizzes. Over to you, Daf.
The quizzes we do on a regular basis, probably about one every 6 weeks. We've been doing them for years and years and years. It takes a long time to get 16 grand for a boat. We do the quizzes Christmas, Easter, all the Saints' Days, Valentine's Day, anything you wish. We can find a reason for having a quiz. Then it always at the Trafalgar in Queenbrough, and if anybody would like to come along, individuals and teams are always most welcome, and Heidi at the Trafalgar always provides us with a beautiful supper. But nevertheless, that has at a £5 each time each quiz. We've managed to raise the money for the boat, and now, as John Nurden very beautifully put in the Sheerness Times and Guardian, trolley good reason for a quiz. We are now raising money for the trolley to put the boat on to launch it into the water.
And the quizzes are good fun, and the money that we've raised from the quizzes is supplemented by support from Queenbrough Town Council and Queenbrough Fishery Trust. We've applied to these people for grants, and they have been able and willing to support us in our venture, and have supported our fundraising efforts, so that now we have raised the money and the boat is with us, and we would like to thank those organisations for supporting us.
We're talking to Geoff and Daf. We're talking to them all about the Queenbrough Rowing Club. We were just talking about their new boat, and I was wondering, was it a special built boat, or what type of boat did you have built?
Yes, it's a Celtic longboat, which Marco Devereux, and I went all the way to the far corner of Wales, where it was handmade to pick it up. It was absolutely beautiful, and we put our brand new boat. We left at 4 o'clock in the morning from the Isle of Sheppey, and we put our brand new boat on the trailer that we'd taken with us, and we drove it all the way back to Queenbrough. It was quite late in the evening. It was very dark, almost knocking midnight, but we could not believe it. We were absolutely thrilled to bits. When we got to the Queenbrough boatyard, there was a whole welcoming committee waiting for us to bring that boat in. So yes, thank you to Marco for doing all that driving. That's a hell of a drive in one day, and bringing that boat back, and it is beautiful. And our thanks too to one of our members, Laurie. She has made the most gorgeous flag for it, totally different. So if you come and see us, you will know the boat and you will know the beautiful flag that's on it.
And of course, one of the great advantages of a modern boat, as opposed to the boats that we have, which are great. In the old boats we got are great. They were built by members 20 years ago, and they were built by love, but they are of a sturdy construction, and the consequence of that is that they are heavy. And whereas the new boat with the new technology means that it's light, and it's a bit of a push to get the boat from the boatyard, which is in the middle of Queenbrough, out along the concrete walkway and into the water. But the new boat, by comparison, it almost pushes itself into the water. So we are very pleased and very proud to have the only Celtic longboat on the Isle of Sheppey, and it is a pleasure. It is a pleasure to operate, and once you're in it, of course, it is a pleasure to row. Either for recreational rowing, when we're rowing around the many sites and in the waters around Queenbrough, or when we take it out in competitive rowing. But perhaps I'll talk a bit more about competitive rowing a little later on.
I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the different types of rowing.
Thank you, Daniel. Yes, well, we've spoken a bit about the recreational rowing that we do and the benefits of that, and I fully recommend it for people of all ages. If this were, of course, a TV station, you'd be able to see that both Daf and I are fit, highly tuned athletes. No, I joke on that. But we do have fit, highly tuned athletes who do want to exercise their competitive spirit, and we do enter competitions. Some of those competitions are internal, so that we organise rowing events, rowing races. One of the races that we organise is a row from Queenbrough to the Lilies. That's a buoy that's the other side of the bridge that marks where the tides of swale they meet. And there's a swirl there, which at certain states of the tide looks rather like a lily, hence the name, the Lilies. And then we row around the buoy there and then back again, which is quite a substantial row. And we invite clubs from elsewhere, from Gravesend, from Essex rowing clubs, and we have half a dozen, 8, 10 other teams turn up, and we run the competition, and that's always a good day. And of course, being the Isle of Sheppey, we guarantee good weather for that race, usually in October.
October the 16th.
October the 16th. So any rowing clubs out there who would like to throw down the gauntlet, we are ready for that challenge. So as well as internal events that we organise, we also go to other racing events, particularly though not exclusively in Essex. There is the Southend Pier race, the Round Canvey Island race, and other races that we go to, where we, particularly recently with the new Lady Daf, have been able to give a very good account of ourselves, and the rowing teams that have gone out there have been able to bring back silverware that now graces the compound that we have in Queenbrough. So that's been good that the competitive side has had a boost recently by the recent successes, and more of that no doubt will be taking place. And as well as racing in Essex, I suppose the pinnacle of the rowing calendar for us is the Great River Race, which takes place usually early September in London. Takes place from approximately Greenwich, and you row up to, I've forgotten where we were up to.
Greenwich to Richmond. Going under all 28 of London's bridges. 28
bridges, 22 miles.
22
it's a
miles.
long way to row, but with that howling tide behind you, and the race is always organised so that you've got the tide in your favour. The team that we put in this year was able to make a very good time of 2 hours and 44 minutes, which is a very good time, and it is just one of those magic occasions that people who take part just always remember, because you're seeing London from the river, the position from which London is best viewed. London has its best face on from the river as you go by the Houses of Parliament, Big Ben, the Eye, and the other features to note on the Thames, and you finish up in Richmond, exhausted but triumphant. It is one of those experiences that it should be on everybody's bucket list, I think.
It could, and we also have the leisure rowers that can take 4 hours, and it doesn't matter. And we have the competitive rowers that do it in 2 hours something. The majority of traffic is stopped on the River Thames. It's just rowing boats, about 400, and they come from Ireland, from Holland. One of our boats we loaned 1 year to the French Canadians. They come from all over the world, and it is just rowing boats. Every bridge, all 28 of them, packed with people. All the shores are packed with people, and the atmosphere is just absolutely brilliant. It's known as the water marathon.
Water marathon, yeah, it is good.
Hopefully before you go, you could just refresh our listeners of any contact details, and of course how they can find out more, and a little bit about if they'd like to become a member as well, I think.
Yes, our base is for Queenbrough Rowing Club is a boatyard which is opposite Queenbrough Social Club, so we're quite easy to find, free parking, and if anybody would like to come along, you're most welcome to join us. We row on Wednesday evenings. We will be rowing each Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock until the end of October, when the evenings are not light enough. We start again Wednesday evenings in March when the clocks go forward. But we do always row every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Very, very rare that the wind is too strong for us. The swale is very kind for rowing in. And if anybody would like to come along, you really would be most welcome. We really are a nice crowd. You can come along. Your first row is free, and you can come along and have a go at rowing for some of it or all of it, or you can just simply be a passenger to see what the water and the fresh air is like off of Queenbrough. And if you, yes, the first row is free, but if you'd like to come with us again, you can either become a member, or you can simply come along rowing at any time for simply a £5.
What a bargain price that is, Daph.
What a bargain price that is.
Well, if you're happy we've covered everything, I'd like to thank the both of you for coming along and telling us all about the club and updating us as well.
Thank you for having us, Daniel, and hopefully somebody listening would love to come along, and we'll see you on Wednesday or on Sunday morning.
Indeed. Thank you, Daniel. Good night.
That is Geoff and Daph telling us all about the Queenbrough Rowing Club right here at the Monday Night Community Show.